The stars don't question how they shine. The moon still glows without a sign. The sun still burns, it takes its place. I am made of the
Welcome
same
to
grace.
Yin-Yang Love. So this is a space where we choose to pause, it's a P, we feel, and then we come back to whatever we need to know. So it's the first episode, and it's such a privilege to invite my beautiful friend Prem Shakti to share her adventurous but deeply wise human journey. And then Prem, hi.
Hi, I'm so grateful to be with you, Jen.
My
It's
gosh,
such
such
a
an honor.
privilege.
Such an honor. If it's okay, can I share the bio you share with me? Because it's a ton. It's better for me to just honor it, read it out
Yeah.
loud for people to know. Okay. So Prem was a founding member of the world-renowned Kripalu Center in 1974 and the PremYoga Center for Enlightened Living in 1997. So after directing professional training in yoga and holistic health modalities for decades with graduates offering their services around the world, Prem now offers private one-on-one and group programs in personal transformation, meditation, and transformational breath work. Hold on, more. So she shared her journey of 5 decades of studying, practicing, and teaching from both Eastern and Western traditions about the shadows and light side of human nature and spirit was triggered, you were triggered by 3 significant experiences: a Kundalini awakening, the trauma of a near strangulation, and a relationship with a narcissist. So Prem, after just sharing that out from to whoever who's listening right now, I am super curious, how did you actually embrace all of these extremes of your human life experience, because it's beyond the regular? And from almost being murder, strangulation, all the way to who you are right now, you're this beautiful spiritual teacher, enlightened being, inspiring thousands. How did you walk all the way from there to here? Let's explore.
Okay.
So I think since we're like really like treasure hunting in your life experience, I feel I want to ask, when you decided to join the ashram back in 1974, that's after the experience of strangulation.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Would you share a little bit more about how did it happen and that propel you to actually join or entering into an ashram?
yes,
Yeah,
sure.
of 20 years,
Um,
Monkhood. Yeah.
well, I was busking in the underground metro systems and on the corners in London with 2 guitars, and we had gone to Brighton to see a rishi regularly on the weekend. So I had a little spiritual awakening. I met a woman who taught me, who didn't teach me any yoga, but told me about yoga and said, when you go back to the States, you should look up this little event that happens every year. So I had a little orientation to, there's more to the world than what meets the eye. But I don't know what that is. And I've never read anything about yoga. I don't know a thing about it. And this man, one day out of the blue, he was on top of me trying to strangle me. And I didn't fight. I just stared him down and looked in his eyes. And finally, he removed his hands and hit me around a little bit and disappeared. And then I went into shock. And many people go into some forms of trauma. We don't have easy lives. So I shut down and never told anybody about it for a few years, because I was afraid he could psychically find me and hurt me. So I hid that part of my life. But when I came back to America, I went to explore, what's this yoga about? And in my first class, I had a very unusual moment of grace, of an awakening of energy that bypassed my mind that tries to rationalize and figure things out, completely went blank. And I was filled with love, with the awareness that God is in everything and everywhere, and realized I need to explore what yoga is about. So I went to find a teacher, and there was a small community of people. This was back in 73 or 74. It was a handful of people in Pennsylvania that later became the world-renowned Kripalu Yoga Center. And I went there, had a meditation one night, the first night, and fell again into a state of no mind and deep peace and love. And I thought, oh, I need to explore what this is. So I moved in that weekend and never thought I would leave. I took vows of celibacy and simplicity and service, and and did things I never thought I would do. They asked me to learn massage and train masseuses professionally, and I thought, after being strangled, I don't want to be touched. But my mantra back then was say yes to everything asked.
Mm.
Just say yes, yes, yes. So I never used the word no. And and so I said yes, and I became a healer and trained people to do energy work and body work, and then and thought I'd spend my life there. I was so happy just waking up in the morning, doing my own personal meditation for a few hours, going to teach, meditating at lunch, going to teach or counsel people. That was my life. And then one day, once a year, I saw my parents for Christmas, and flying home, I had this experience of a booming voice saying, live a year with no obligation. And I went back to the ashram and told my friends who were the administrators, I need a year with no obligation. And they said, well, you can't do that. You have to, you know, earn your keep and keep doing your trainings or whatever we schedule you to do, and say yes to it all. And I said, no, I have to say yes to my spirit's call and no to what I thought I would spend my life doing the rest of my life, working in an ashram. So they said, well, if you have to do a year with no obligation, leave. And I left and traveled for 2 years without a penny in my pocket, sometimes not knowing where I was going to sleep the next night, totally trusting and guided and moving from family to family, community to community with spirit. And it was a blessed time. I went back to the ashram after 2 years and saw they really have a small container. Their mind says this is where everybody should be, and that the world's like in darkness. And
Wow.
so I realized there's light in the world too. There's
Mm.
not one path, one way for everybody. Everybody's on their own path. And I don't belong in this community at all. So I kept traveling, and people invited me to Florida. Somebody met me and proposed to me the first week after meeting me.
That was after you had this clean kind of heartfelt closure with the ashram life for the 20 years,
Yes.
right?
So, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I thought they don't understand. I'll cook, I'll clean the toilets, I'll do whatever, but it's called by my spirit, not told what to do. And, I might have open door counseling for a month. I don't know, but I have a year. It said year with no obligation, but to what's called in the moment, what I'm called to do. So
It felt like a
they thought,
true, sorry to cut in, but it felt like a true redef redefine or redefinition of renunciation in your own terms.
yes, yes, it wasn't, there are times that we fit structures in society or religions or our families, and then something individuates and we don't fit the structure anymore. And we have to, it's not that we want to leave the structure because it's throwing us into something unknown, but our calling, I don't fit here anymore. It's too small and I'm bigger than what I was before. And we keep evolving and getting bigger if we allow ourselves to face the fear of the unknown.
And praying that's one of the most enlightened feeling in your being. At the same time, I assume it was really scary at the time as well, because you had to allow yourself to integrate into society and allowing personal relationships to come in, which weren't, the lifestyle in the ashram,
Yeah.
right?
Like it was easy to leave the ashram and travel wearing my orange monk outfits, my swami outfits, because I was still in the form I was familiar with, even though I was in the world. But then when I realized this man asked to marry me, and he kept asking over a period of a year, and I finally realized, oh, that's the next renunciation. Drop the form I've been holding on to and feel secure with and enter relationship. And then somebody gave me money to open a yoga center. I opened a yoga center and I took on teaching again, but I was still in a form that was familiar, that I loved serving, loving people, helping bring more light in the world and seeing them travel around the world, sharing their gifts in their own unique ways. But I wasn't individuating to have personal relationships very much. I was still a teacher. And then I broke my knee. The last 200-hour training I led was from a wheelchair. And I was in my bed one night and I had this download of it's time to end training yoga teachers after 23 years and do the next thing and sell your house and close the center. And I was like, what? But as soon as that download happened, all this healing energy went to my knee. And I couldn't deny when we live in truth, there's more energy.
Mm.
If we pretend things are okay or we're denying or we're just accommodating others and not living our true selves, we're not full of our life force. We're half alive instead of fully alive.
I can deeply
And
relate, yeah, to this part.
when I said yes to, when I felt all that energy go to heal my knee, I was like, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I don't know.
Mm.
But the energy was so strong, my mind couldn't argue. So I put my house on the market. It sold in a month. I didn't know where I was going to go, so I began traveling like a monk again. But from family to family, a client was up north and said, I'm not going to be in my house for 3 months, have my house. And so spirit took care of me again the way it did, but I was in the world and I had learned to start trusting, like I learned to discriminate. Um,
Can you share more?
I've,
Because I think I just love how you share so openly about the process of individualization. Yeah, individuation.
yeah.
Because throughout your life experience, it felt kind of uncomfortable and challenging to say no, right? Was it? Do you want to share a little bit more about?
Well, I was born a twin and I was the younger twin. I was premature, I was smaller, and I was my sister's shadow. So I never claimed my own, I rarely claimed my own voice until our parents separated us to go to different colleges. And then I started individuating and asked, well, what do I want? And I'm curious about what's in the world. It's not what it used to be. And I started exploring so much that my mom, when I went back after the first semester and told her all the things I did, it was outside of her box. And she said, I need to disown you. You're not my daughter. So I had to, my father came to my rescue and I stayed in the family, we healed. But individuating, then when I went into the ashram and took vows and had the mantra yes to everything that was asked of me, I never knew how to say no. And when I left the ashram, again, the divine, I'm not arguing with. If I get a message, here's $1,000 to open a yoga center, I'll take it and open a yoga center. And it thrived for 23 years till I broke my knee. But I didn't know how to be nobody. That's not quite the right way to say it. I knew how to flourish with what I love doing, whether it was teaching healing arts, whether it was teaching yoga teachers, those were just the packages for sharing my love. But to be without a form in the world and start having personal relationships and individuate. So instead of being my sister's shadow or my partner's yes girl to everything he wanted to be a threesome.
My
He
God.
wanted, after 8 years, he said, oh, I met somebody. I'd love us to be a threesome. And I had to learn how to say no. There was no question. It was just like, no. And he said, well, not even the police can protect you if you don't hand over some real estate that's in your name that we put together. And are you sure you want to say no? And it was so against my human nature to have a third person in a relationship of love that I couldn't argue. And I said no, even though I felt scared. And
Mm,
I lived for 3 months or a few months with a suitcase in my car because he wouldn't leave my house where we were living. And sometimes he scared me so much I'd go stay with a friend. Eventually, he got tired of living there and found a place to move. And I had to orient myself to, I have my own life and I don't know how to live it. I'm scared. My sister, thank God I had my twin sister, because when we're going through big challenges, we need stable points.
yeah.
And my twin sister was a go-to for me. She
Mm,
was a stable point, and I cried with her on the phone every day because that relationship ended the same weekend my dear father died. So I was in deep grief and also fear of for my safety.
so intense. So intense.
So that's a bit about the extreme of the light and the dark. The
Yeah.
dark was heavy, almost strangled, my life threatened again, and living 20 years without a thought of worldly life, no politics, no money, no handling anything in the world, and then coming out in the world and the one person I partnered with disappeared. We broke up
How
and
to
I was left to my,
that
yeah,
comes to the question, how do we trust if we are so traumatized in certain experiences,
yes,
right? Uh,
yeah,
Thank you so much for your vulnerability and so open and honest to share about your experience, Prem, because I think a lot of us, we've gone through a lot of, life challenges in different
yes,
storylines, different scenarios, and a lot of us, we just feel, it's just we're doomed. It sounds really, you know,
we've given up hope.
negative, but
Yeah,
we gave up. So in the darkness, as well, why I call this yin-yang love, because in the yin part, in the part that's so dark, I want to see the moonlight. Can you show me some moonlight? So that darkness that when we navigate without faith or hope, what is some suggestion from your from your wise, bank of knowledge? What would you suggest that would feel like a North Star for us to continue to say, no, I'm anchored, I'm safe and protected.
yeah. Yes, so part of my languaging is what are the stable points in my life? What are the anchors? And what is the North Star? And there's two realms we exist in. One is a spiritual realm that for some hasn't opened up yet. And for some, there's been glimpses of there's something more that I can't see. For others, there's deep meditation, and it's always available to go deeper.
Mm.
Um, so having your own personal relationship to whatever the great mystery is called, God, the divine, having some bit of an anchor or some way to explore that as a stable point is important because as we see, the world is in crisis and chaos. So an anchor in what is untouched. And our true nature is untouched as well. The yogis say you're covered up by five she's and that are constantly changing. Like one's the physical body. It goes through changes. We're not youth anymore that are going, going, going. Or we have accidents. We get older. How do I deal with the life changes of my body, my mind, my emotions? What follows the word I? I'm afraid. I'm angry. Well, is that who I really am? No. I am experiencing those things. I'm a separate, conscious, wise being that has sources, resources, wisdom through the body. The body is a great vehicle. It will, when we're under stress, the tummy knots up and our guts, like our digestion goes off. So, listening to your gut wisdom and body messages is one way to start getting grounded.
Mm.
Stay in your body. Take care of your body a little bit. If you're uncomfortable, adjust. Follow those little urges. But then taking a pause, I call them sacred pauses. I love that you use the word pause, that's a part of your yin-yang
I need
perfection.
to hear it myself as much as possible.
Yeah, and so I take pauses and I encourage people to take what I call sacred pauses during the day, like something that you always do, maybe every time you get out of the car, before entering or leaving your car, have a moment to sit and feel your body, feel your breath, feel your emotional state, and maybe ask, well, who's feeling all of this? Who am I? Noticing these things.
Mm.
Just having a pause to land in the present instead of projecting fear in the future or rehashing things in the past. We go to the mind to find solutions, but the mind makes more problems than solutions. And so we have to source from a quiet place, where's the wisdom inside? And quiet moments and an open, curious mind will help source the wisdom. And sometimes people will use prayer, whatever that means to them. It's again opening to that which is not the mind grabbing for answers, but having quiet space to source
Mm.
from above, from below. There's wisdom and through the heart. Our hearts know when something's not right, like our guts know. So rather than disconnecting and pretending things are okay and letting things go on and disconnecting from ourselves, we have to come home to ourselves and claim or reclaim the truth of who you are
Yeah. Oh my God.
and meet it in the moment from who you are and from something bigger, big perspectives and your human perspectives, holding the two, humanity and divinity, finding the way. Because for me, the human way was so full of traumas, and living in an ashram for 20 years was so divine, but I had no opportunity to clear out some of my human messy stuff until I left the ashram and came in the world again. And then there's, oh my, things to deal with that I didn't know I had. So those anchor points, like you said, or stable points, relationship, the body and the breath, sometimes asking for help, finding a finding a friend, a sister like I had, a mentor who's maybe a step or two experienced through what you've gone through, being humble enough to reach and ask for help from above, from within, from others. That's important.
I I just so appreciate you sharing all of it because you came from a place of pureness of the consciousness, the divinity, the connection with the divine, and all the way to the shadow part of human experience and seeing both the light and the dark and how to bridge the two together rather than just shut it all down, right? And then so I want to kind of let's circle back a little bit about when you mentioned shortly about the individuation process. Sometimes it could get very scary, right? Especially when we have a lot of trauma, in the
Yeah.
previous experiences. And then we don't know how to say no. We don't know how to honor that truth that will actually open up a door to a different life experience, right?
Yeah.
So for people who are going through their own individuation, what would you suggest? What would you advise them to stay grounded so they don't feel like, you know, push and pull, that kind of energy? You know what I mean?
So there's how do I stay grounded and how do I say no might be different answers. Know that know that no is saying yes to yourself.
Mm,
Like learning to have compassion for yourself and walk with that dignity, walk with respect. If I do that, I'm losing some respect for myself. I have to say no so I can say yes to what feels more true to myself and lifts me up because I'm in more service to others. I'm not talking about, you know, teaching or anything, but just when we live aligned with our true self and our souls, whatever that is, whatever that means to you, the world is a better place. We're a light in the world. It doesn't matter if anybody sees it, but we emanate what we think. And if we're saying yes out of fear, we're emanating darkness, we're emanating constriction. And so to take the little steps to say yes and no in small ways to start with, like going to your closet in the morning and say, what am I going to wear?
mm,
What do I want? Like asking, I'm here. I'm not disappearing in relationship or in my career. There's a me here too, while I'm in relationship. And while I'm looking at my clothes, I'm going to say no to blue today and yes to white and a little pink.
love that.
So it's a safe place to say no to blue and yes to this. No to meat, yes to chickpeas today. No to fish, yes to lamb. You know, whatever. There's no right or wrong. What it makes it right and wrong is you.
Mm, totally.
The rules aren't made by others.
Yeah.
There are no rules really except what feels right. And when we've walked away from ourselves, we don't know. Like it used to be people would say, well, what do you want? And I go, I don't have a clue. What do you want to eat? I don't know. I've never used the word I want when I was a renunciate. I don't use I want. No, that's not in my vocabulary. If that's greedy, you shouldn't want. But wanting for the true self, from your true self,
Mm,
so that you are all that you are in the world wants you to say yes to you.
I love this. There's that freedom, like inner freedom of, can I really want that thing? There's such
Right. Yeah.
joy. More joy.
And that's,
Yeah.
if you deny yourself, you lose energy. Like, look at what drains. One thing I do with some clients is ask, make a list of what lifts you up and gives you energy and what drains your energy. And I know when we pretend, when we make do, we're shrinking. We're not full of energy. If I want to be really alive, I have to include myself and feel what is natural for me to do. I want to live naturally. So spiritually, it might look selfish, but be selfish for your true self. Be selfish for yourself, and you will be gifting others by your presence.
Mm. Permission slipped. Permission, everybody.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
Permission slip.
I just love this. Well, Prem, so you have so much to give and offer to the world, and I just feel like, people, whoever is watching right now, can sense your massive healing power and energy. And I would love to ask you to share more about your information for people to contact you when they need healing. Yes.
Or just feel stuck in life. Sometimes life is going great, but there's one area that needs a little bump up. I love working with people who have a thirst for truth
Yep.
and desire to meet life's challenges and sometimes tough transitions with greater ease and clarity that source from their inner wisdom and compassion from their hearts. Rather than giving answers to people, I know people have what they need within. And then they live, leaving a positive impact in the world, whether it's just living alone or with family or friends, or maybe in service with their work or in their communities. But as they live their own unique lives, they're coming from a place of confidence and joy and soul alignment. And so I do work one-on-one with people. Um, I love sharing and helping people come home to their true selves. And I also have a program coming in probably 2 months. Both my solo work and group program are called, oh my gosh,
Stand true.
Standing Strong and True.
Stand strong and true. Yes.
Standing Strong and True. Claiming your voice and your freedom of choice. And so if people want to contact me, email is good. My email is premcreativepower@gmail.com. Prem, Prem, like premier. We all are the best, and we're getting even brighter and lighter. And creative power, my full divine name is Prem Shakti, and Shakti is the female power of creation.
Yeah.
So Prem Creative Power at Enlightened at gmail.com.
Beautiful. I'll make sure I put it up in the post.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, guys, so thanks to Prem's beautiful blessings and energies that she's sharing with in our yin and yang love, in this space that we all are walking in our shadows and with our light. And I'm just so privileged and honored to have you here to kick off
Yes.
Yin-Yang Love. Thank you, Prem. Thank you so much. And everyone, you know where to reach out to Prem.
And I just want to say, you are such a bright light and joyful friend in my life. I'm so grateful to be here to kick off this incredible work that you do and will continue. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you so much. So if you're watching, I invite you and Prem together. We're doing, Yin-Yang Love. Which part? Okay, we pause. Beautiful, that's a P. We pause, and then we feel, then we come back to finally what we know is true. It's true, right? All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much, Prem. Love you. Bye.
I am the sun, I am the moon, I am the night, I am the noon, I am the shadow, I am the light, I am the day. question how they shine. The moon still glows without a sign. The sun still burns, it